r/Askreddit by Reddit and chill. People who went to school with celebrities before they were famous. What were they like? Brad Pitt went to my high school when my mom was there. She said he was really nice and kind of a nerd. Hung out with the other theater kids mostly. I can't picture him as a theater kid. I always felt like he was just a really good looking guy who happened to fall into acting and everything just worked out for him. Went to junior high and high school with Taylor Lautner. Played football together my freshman year. Dude was really nice. And a bit awkward. This was before the whole Twilight thing. And he was most famous for Shark Boy and Lavagerol. He seemed pretty much what you expect a theater kid to be like. But really nice dude overall. Pretty quiet. Played Pokemon Leaf Green together a few times. I once saw him at Trader Vic's. He was drinking a pina colada. His hair was perfect. Is a terrorist famous? I went to school with Richard Reed, a shoe bomber. My mum used to feel sorry for his mum because his dad was a complete bastard when he wasn't in prison. Can't ever defend what he tried to do. But that kid never stood a chance. The worst crime he committed was wasting everyone's time by making us take off our shoes. Was friends with Natalie Portman in first grade. Had a fake fur coat. Her mom would pack her lunch in lots of little containers with instructions on how to assemble them. That's all I remember. I just pictured a hand-drawn IKEA manual. Smuggers. Went to primary school with Hugh Jackman. Total class act and always had the makings of someone who would be successful. He used to be a gym teacher. There's a video of him on the red carpet and he recognizes one of his former students and goes up to chat. I'd share it but I'm at work. Should be an easy YouTube search. Seems like a genuine guy. Was a freshman when Chris Pratt was a senior. We didn't interact much. But he was in a lot of the assemblies and I did tech theater for a play he was in. He was a goofball. Lots of charisma. Laid back. Class clown. About what you'd expect seeing him now. My friend's dad taught him in high school. I wonder if you had him for a teacher. Name is Fraser. Don't know what he taught. Either like Lake Stevens or Mount Vernon or somewhere around there, right? Tommy Hilfiger. Who was basically regarded as a trashy a-hole. He had approximately 100 siblings and I think they were all kind of that way. My mom knew him when she was a kid. His original store was by a shoe store where my mom's dad worked and she said she would go over there all the time because she thought he was cute lol. Went to high school with Mac Miller. Dude was duckin' dedicated. He was selling CDs in school and always had posters up and stuff. We weren't really in the same social circles but we had some classes together. He was a goof and a generally good guy. RIP. I know a girl who used to date him before he got famous. They stayed friends after breaking up even after he started taking off. I've never heard of anyone having anything bad to say about Mac. Truly a good man. RIP. Went to school with Eminem's daughter in high school. She was a cool girl and always gotten a lot of attention because of her dad lol. I met her at Total Soccer once and she was really nice. She also played volleyball against my sister a couple times and one of the games I was pretty sure I saw Kim lol. She was wearing shades inside the building, I guess trying to deflect attention, but it only brought more lol. Went to school with Khalid. He was one of those kids that always pretended to be stoned but never smoked. He acted very flamboyant and used that to always be around girls, never made a move on them though. Strange fellow. This is like the perfect description of Khalid Nalmayo. My mom was close friends with Winona Ryder in high school. She dressed in all black a lot and was made fun of by other kids. But my mom, her and a couple others were a pretty tight group. She said Winona used to eat salad for lunch a lot to diet. And she'd put a ton of dressing on it to the point that it wasn't even healthy anymore, haha. After her movie Heather she made them go and watch it together. She said she was really sweet. And Winona highlighted her picture in my mom's yearbook, which was pretty cool to see. I remember hearing a story of her running into a woman somewhere who she used to go to high school with who used to bully her. And she asked for her autograph. And Winona more or less told her to go duck herself. I went to high school with a black kid in the wheelchair from Malcolm in the Middle. He was a dong to everyone but always had a large group of people following him because he was famous. Damn, don't ruin Stevie for me lol. Family friend still holds a grudge against Anne Hathaway for stealing her boyfriend in high school. My husband knew Pete Wentz from Fall Out Boy. Back in the day they had some mutual friends. Said Wentz was a nice guy. Quote. Puked in my husband's car once after a rave. Lol. Went to high school with Aaron Judge of the Yankees. Was a specimen of an athlete at a very young age. I was older than him. But it was a small school, so basically everyone knew everyone. Ran into him at a mutual friend's party the first year he was called up to the majors, and the guy graciously accepted a congratulations, then began to ask about me and my life as the local bartender in our small ass town. Remembered my name and everything. Guy is extremely humble and an overall class act. I've met him through photographing baseball. Extremely humble. And actually quite funny. Glad to have him as a Yankee. My aunt and uncle lived next door to Patrick Stewart. He had a terrible childhood. His dad was traumatized during the war like so many were. He changed so much it became untenable, and his mum used to send him to relatives to keep him safe. Very sad. He is a lovely man and he keeps in touch with friends he made many years ago. My best friend's mom went to college with Wes Anderson, and yes, he was a total hipster. But he's this super humble dude. They run into each other in Dallas every once in a while and he says hi and buys her coffee as if he's not this huge director. Same for Owen Wilson. Row. My friend's mom went to school with Tony Hawk. She said he was pretty chill. I mean, it's Tony Hawk. Like the chillest dude out there. I went to school with Terry Crews for a couple years. Nice kid and a great artist. He and one other kid used to have drawing competitions before class started. Somebody would yell out a comic book character and he and the other kid, also a great artist, would both draw. I can't remember who was better because it was a lifetime ago. He punched me in the chest once at an assembly and totally winded me. I was being a dong. So I had it coming. If Terry Crews punches you, you deserve it. My mom went to school with the current president of Serbia. She said he was quite nerdy and socially awkward, but I guess that's changed now. Went to high school with Shawn Mendes. Nice kid. We all used to make fun of him a bit, but I guess the joke's on us now. I see him around at parties once in a while. Still a nice guy. Hey, there's another comment about him. Maybe you know that other Redditor. In college my mom dated Weird Al's best friend. She said he was super shy and reserved most of the time. But as soon as he entered the booth it was like a switch was flipped and he exploded with excitement and energy. Your mom dated Harvey the Wonder Hamster? Can't believe no one has mentioned Drake yet. He went to my high school. Though in different grades, so I didn't know him. He was already famous from Degrassi High. And he was hilariously pompous. This school had quite a few rich families. And the rich kids loved him, of course. I mean, he was a very rich kid named Aubrey, living in a rich white Jewish area. His started from the bottom stuff in songs and street accent is hilariously fake. Remember when he lost the Rolling Stone cover because Philip Seymour Hoffman died and he ran to Twitter to cry about how unfair that was to him? His image is so carefully constructed by his management team. He's pretty much hip hop's version of the Backstreet Boys. My cousin went to high school with John Krasinski. He even came to her wedding reception 8 years ago. Kelly Clarkson's family and a section of mine were really close before she got famous. I was originally introduced to her as another of my cousins. I have, and know, over 70 first and second cousins. My family reunions are massive. She was pretty cool when we were kids. She's a couple years older than me but was always really nice, down to earth, and big on church group stuff. My family has old videos of me and her singing together and of her singing for my aunt and uncle's wedding. All from before American Idol. No, I couldn't sing worth crap then or now. But her love of music was contagious. She seems super down to earth and genuine just from watching her on TV shows. One of those celebrities that you feel like you could just start a conversation and not be intimidated. I went to school 5th 12th grade with the son of Suzanne Collins, author of The Hunger Games. She came into my 5th grade class and we all got signed copies of her other book Gregor the Overlander. didn't take off like THG did, that's for sure. Her son was super quiet and nerdy. Nice kid but just didn't talk. I remember his girlfriend was also a writer and a lot of us were convinced that she was only dating him to get close to his mom. Demi Lovato. And let's just say she doesn't tell the whole story when she's talking about being bullied. Edit. Just going to move the commented elaboration up to the main post for the convenience of readers. She was a bully who got bullied. It's the classic chicken and egg scenario. She was bullied because she was terrible. But the bullying made her worse. So it's very he said she said about who started it. She was also just a piece of work in general. Her mother got up on the lunch tables at one point and yelled that we would all regret the way we treated her daughter. She thought she was a gift from God and wanted to be treated as such. Very about being recognized for her supreme vocal talent and such. PLS elaborate. Went to college with Logan Paul. We have these huge street parties every spring. Remember a whole block of college party kids chanting Duck Logan Paul. These were the Vine days when he was just starting out. They were ahead of their time. Jensen Ackles was a well-liked theater kid. Berkner High School FTW. Jensen Ackles seems like a great all-around guy. He's a very underappreciated actor. Post Malone and I graduated from high school together. I even have a picture from when our art class recreated the Last Supper with McDonald's for someone's art project. He posed as Jesus and I was basically Judas. We weren't friends. But he was always friendly when we did speak. He had a very chill demeanor and always cracked jokes in our history class. I liked the dude. I measured dates now either in pre or post Malone. Went to school with the daughter of the president of the country. Technically it wasn't her who's famous. Outside of a few TV appearances during ceremonies and the inauguration. But it was funny. After her dad was elected. How we'd go for a lunch or something and she'd be stealthily pointing at inconspicuously looking men in plain clothes a few tables away who were the bodyguard's secret service. Then those guys would be trailing us 20-30m. Hiding in the crowd so as not to be obvious, etc. Weird experience overall. She was pretty down to earth. Her behavior didn't change at all, except leaving the school through the back door as the media. Roughly a week after the election. Were essentially camping in front of the main entrance trying to get an interview. My sister goes to the same University of Michigan, as Barack Obama's daughter. My sister had a few interactions with her and said that she's super nice. I went to high school with Shawn Mendes. Didn't know him personally, as I was in 12th grade while he was a 9th grader. Despite that age gap, I knew who he was. Girls in my grade were already gushing about how cute and talented he was. I'm friends with a handful of people who are very close to him, and I'm happy to say that he seems like a really kind-hearted person. He never portrayed an ounce of arrogance. He was always respectful to those around him. I came back for a grade 13 and he was back for grade 10, ended up being his last year in regular HS. His fame started to pick up real momentum. But he remained the same grounded individual. It's been a treat to watch his career flourish and I will always be a fan. Plus, it's cool watching friends from high school casually traveling the world with him. Those guys got it good. Edit. I feel like I missed an important part. I remember him getting the gears from a lot of males in my grade and I don't think he ever got too worried about it. The kid was cool and level-headed and he's done wonders for himself. Someone else who commented went to school with Mendes as well. I wonder if you all knew each other. My parents went to Catholic high school with Chris Farley. Guess he acted the exact way off camera and got suspended once for showing his pecker to a nun. My physics teacher in high school said he was a camp counselor with Farley for a summer. Said he was just as funny in person as TV movies. Totally hilarious and nice dude. Went to Long Beach Polytechnic High School with Snoop Dogg. But I got kicked out for smoking pot at school. Wait. You went to school with Snoop and you got kicked out for pot? Is this the mirror universe and nobody told me? This wasn't before she was famous. But probably at her peak of fame. I went to school with Jodie Sweetin. She was there for just 7th grade before she moved to another school. But she made an impression. On the second day of class an announcement came over the PA that we weren't to bother her on school grounds, although I seriously doubted anyone cared any. That year we had paid together and she became good friends with my bully, Duck You. Crystal. I remember one day sitting on the ground on the tennis court with the rest of class while the PE teacher was doing something. I don't remember what. I had my legs stretched out in front of me, and even though the class was sitting on the court, we weren't bunched together. There was plenty of room to walk among us. Jody was walking up to the front to talk to the teacher and went out of her way to step over my legs when she could have easily just gone around. She gave me the dirtiest look ever, like I'd kicked her dog or verbally assaulted her. When my bully, Duck You, Crystal, would start in on calling me names, Jody was more than happy to lend a verbal hand while smirking. Never watched another Full House episode after that, and for the longest time my stomach would turn whenever anyone gushed about it. Duck You, Crystal. Ducking, like and subscribe.